So you've read the chapter in Composition of Everyday Life about searching for causes. Maybe you've watched the organizational screencast. You've read this assignment sheet. And as a result, you're thinking to yourself, well, what am I going to write this essay about? And I have a little bit of pre-writing to help you with, taking a walk, right? These are sort of the IRL options. Sitting on the couch or sitting down, period. What are people doing in front of their televisions or in movie theaters, at the kitchen table, and hang out. These are sort of your real life options. So if you just kind of keep your eyes peeled at, a football game or, anything going on, maybe in the downtown of your home, your hometown or whatever, you can definitely find trends of people sort of in your life. What you can also do, and I think is kind of a cool option just because I come from a fairly techie perspective, is to try to understand online behavior a little bit. So this screencast is meant to help you kind of look around at not only your own internet habits, let's say your own browsing habits, but stuff that other people do that maybe you want to try to understand a little better. You can definitely use this essay for sort of self-exploration, or you can kind of turn the gaze, turn your eyes out to other people. So I thought I would just sort of off the cuff look at the other tabs that I have open. So this is work. Okay, sure. Here's one. Garmin Connect. Garmin is the company that makes my watch when I run, and it gives me all this feedback, right? How long I ran, how far, I guess, how long it took me, the pace I was at, how many calories I burned, the elevation gain, blah, blah, blah. And that's interesting, I guess, because I'm training for a marathon. And as a result, I, have lots of runs recently that I can look back on and make sure I was kind of hitting the paces that I was going for. Why do I do that, when I'm not training for a marathon, or why do I do it when I'm training for a marathon? That's a worthwhile area of discussion, I suppose. But I think more interesting maybe is I'm connected with all the people that I train with, just about. There's some people that don't hook their watches up to the internet, but I can see where other people run, how far they run, and their paces and stuff. And so I will admit to being very nosy when it comes to what are other people up to running wise. Are they hitting their goals? That sort of thing. So I guess maybe that's like a competitive thing. I don't know. I could write a paper about that sort of very easily. What other tabs do we got open here? Okay, sure. Fantasy football, right? Here's my team. Peyton Manning, Brandon Marshall, Jeremy Maclin, T.Y. Not a very good team. I did not have a great draft. I was drafting 4th, and I took Eddie Lacy. Not super pumped with my fantasy football team, but I spent a lot of time getting my lineups ready and so on. So that's certainly something we could get into. My league that I'm commissioner of, I'm very happy to say, Hash Brown Casserole. There's people in this league who don't really watch football. Some of my best friends are in this league, and some of them aren't football fans at all, but they like fantasy football. And I think there's a weird contradiction going on there. So you could get into that, if you're a fantasy football person. Genius, this website I spent a lot of time on as a fan of, writing and, poetry. I like thinking about songwriters and what their intentions are when they write a song that really engages me. And nobody is more engaging to me right now than this guy here, Father John Misty. So I was just listening to his latest album. I saw him in concert when I was at Denver not too long ago. And so I was listening to the song Born in the USA. And so this is an annotated website. I don't know if you've been to Genius or not, but just about every song's in here. But people try to guess at the lyrics, what they're really about, what the the artist is really getting at. And so it's like a wiki. It's sort of crowdsourced. And so why do people care what songs are about, or why do people contribute to annotations, right? Maybe it's worth looking at. What else do I have? Oh, sure. Reddit is a website. The front page of the internet is what it's called. I'm sure you know more about Reddit than I do. But one of my favorite subreddits is just our art, right? So I go here and I just look at different paintings and photographs. I was looking at this one earlier. Shipping on the Clyde by John Atkinson Grimshaw. So I've never heard of this guy before, but let's see. Look at this. Look how big the colors involved. 1881. So I'm a big art fan as well, and so I will go through and I will look at different, any art, especially if I see a name that I recognize, but usually I don't. This is a great way for me to learn about new artists. And of course there's art history and lots of other ones, but my subreddits are various, and usually many of them are related to writing, to art, to movie making, things that I'm interested in. So you could get on any subreddit and try to figure out why it exists. Boy, that would be a good one. What else? Twitch.com. I don't know if I'm sure some of you are aware of this as well. I don't nearly have time to play video games anymore. I'm an old man. I'm bad at them anymore. Some of my friends who are my age and older still play them and are quite good at them. I'm not that dude. But for some reason, watching video games kind of calms me. So every now and again, when I take breaks from grading papers or subcommittee meetings, I will come to Twitch and I will see what people are watching. And it's basically just streaming channels of people playing video games. So that seems like a contradictory type of behavior, doesn't it? I don't play video games, but I like watching people play them. So anyway, you spend your time online in weird ways too, I bet. We could look at your Netflix queue if you have Netflix, or the shows you watch on Hulu, that sort of thing. So cool. That's one way of doing it, but you can also be much more academic in your pursuits, and that's the other thing I want to talk about here. I'm going to close Twitch out because it tends to slow my computer down. Stark State's digital library. So I have to leave Chrome now. I'm using Chrome currently, you can see here, and because once you get to this site, you would encounter this, and if you're using Chrome, you have to get out of Chrome in order to use the library's databases here at Stark State. So for the very first time, I'm using Internet Explorer. I'm pretty excited. As a result, let's see, I'm going to show you how to use Internet Explorer. You're going to Bing something. You're going to Bing Stark State Library. Okay, you're entitled to these services as a quote-unquote tuition-paying student at Stark State. You're entitled to Stark State's libraries. I did a little run-through to make sure they worked. So you click on the blue button there. You'll see this. Not a big deal because, hey, look, you're using IE. If you're on a Mac, of course, you can use Safari. Good for you. I did not bring my Mac with me today to work for once, and I wish I had. So here are the different databases, and depending on your course of study, you can use any of these for any paper you write, but we're in an English class, so we're going to click on English. And I'm going to click up here because I'm on campus, but you need to click down here, and there's going to be a login prompt. You will go to, do we have our own? We used to have to go through Kent Stark. We have our own now, Stark State College of Technology, and then main campus. You'll click submit, and then you'll be asked to enter your username and password as if you were logging into Angel or My Stark State, and to still lesser extent your Stark State email. So I'm going to click here on, I like this one, probably the best for this topic, for this essay. We're going to have a lot more to say about Academic Search Complete once we get to the research project, but for today, Opposing Viewpoints Resource Center. Again, this is a paid database. The school pays Gale, the Gale Corporation, to provide all of these wonderful services, and your quote-unquote tuition pays for it, so get your money's worth out of it. The easiest thing to do, now you can type in a search for anything here. I'm going to just click on Browse Issues, and I don't want Windows Live going anything. Ugh. Okay, so you can see there's just every topic under the sun is probably in here somewhere. Airport security, I'm trying to find ones that maybe jump out a little more. ADHD. I've gotten some really good papers over the years on the increase in diagnosis of ADHD. So let's see. So viewpoints, you can get academic journals. You can listen to stories. Play this video game and call me in the morning. How interesting. There's 1,700 articles in the news, and most of them fairly recent. Websites, reference materials. You can do an interactive map. So if demonstrating the trend is an important aspect of this essay. So percentage of youths diagnosed with attention hyperactivity disorder, 2003. So this is 2003, Ohio, 8.9%. Click on 2007. My goodness, 13.3%. So diagnoses of ADHD are up, oh boy, I gotta do math, 5+% in the, over a 4-year period. And this is from 2007. Numbers are of course notoriously slow to come in because gathering data is a rigorous process, but that demonstrates your trend exists. You could use that stat right away. Oh no, did I click out of it? Steve, we've got to get smarter. We've got to get smarter. All right, so opposing viewpoints once again. Go back there. Every time you click on that, it charges. So I just cost us a little money here. So I saw junk food. Interesting, right? You can see what's in there. Mental disorders, sure. I like the new ones here, the updated one. Mobile phones, obesity, I see bullying. I'm just kind of bouncing around here. You can scroll and find all sorts of things. There's online gambling. That's a weird one. Speaking of fantasy football, that's like if you've seen any commercials for like FanDuel, there are companies who have created a nice little loophole for internet gambling to be legal in America again, and they're doing it through daily fantasy, gambling. Pick a fantasy baseball team, pick a fantasy soccer team. I think that's an interesting trend. rap, parentheses, music, thank you very much. Road rage, right? Riots in the U.S., that's certainly been in the news lately. I don't tend to get into capital T topics very much, but you're welcome to. Climate change, cloning, club drugs. I mean, just about anything under the sun is in here. These all have dedicated, entire, sort of online identities attached to these. So I'm trying to find one, maybe. I'll just go back to Twitch and video games. Let's see what we can find here. Video game ratings, here, statistics. That's another good area. Video game ratings, let's see, types of games played by teenage poll respondents. Violent crime decreased as computer and video games sales soared, 96 to 2004. So this is going to be a graph. We'll look at that. So, I mean, isn't that an interesting why question? Because we often associate violence with video games, right? The kids who play video games are much more likely to be violent, so the story goes. But look at that. As video game sales went up, violent crimes went down, kind of bottomed out. Fascinating visualization of a trend. A trend doesn't always have to go up. A trend can go down. For what it's worth, you can have this read to you, by the way. You can have it in a variety of different accents, I might add, if you're looking to have fun with it. Doesn't that sound like fun? So I'm only showing you this as a way to sort of browse around if you're really stuck on topics. Some students send me emails, these sort of freaking out, panicked emails. I can't think of anything to write this essay on. So this screencast is meant to help you with that. So if you send me that email, I'm probably going to direct you to the screencast because this is going to cover more ground than I could in an email, even with a lot of links. So anyway, click around a lot. High school dropouts. I'm sure teen pregnancy is in here somewhere. Those are popular topics. Teen suicide, of course. Teen pregnancy has been updated recently. So there you go. And of course, you can always go to things like, let's make Google mad. Or Microsoft mad. News.google.com. Let's go to Google News through a Microsoft app. Oh, look, what a crappy interface. Aren't you shocked? You can always see what's going on in the news this way. You can click on, in the greater Cleveland area. So football, why is Northeast Ohio so football obsessed when the rest of the country isn't to the extent that we are? Hope over heroin. So certainly heroin abuse is way up on the rise over the last 5 to 7 years. So you can just skim the news and see what's going on, and you certainly have all these other subcategories. Entertainment. Oh, I can't help myself. Let's see. Oh, it's Fashion Week, day 1. There you go. Let's see. Anything else interesting? Of course, late night shows are all in the news. Well, I guess Google's keeping it fairly austere today in regards to its entertainment news, but usually there are things that will be interesting. Oh, Ronda Rousey is starring in a remake of one of my favorite movies as a kid, right? Roadhouse. Don't know if she'll be tearing out any throats or not, but on that note, you can write on the remake culture in movies. I'm just trying to show you how I would bounce around the internet to find topics and how you can too. So as always, if you have any questions, email me. Best of luck. Goodbye.